It's expedition time. Over the last 2 episodes, you've seen us buy 2 dirt cheap 50cc scooters and give them a flogging in the bush for an afternoon. Deciding what wasn't up to scratch for a proper weekend adventure, we then gathered a bunch of scraps and built some Mad Max looking machines, which, in this episode, will take us deep into the bush for a very wet weekend of camping.
Hey, the door's jammed.
Oh.
Okay, it's finally time for the expedition. We've been working on these things on and off for months, taking them out on journeys, giving them rundowns, adding more on. The chosen place is Waroona Dam, 84 kilometres from home, an hour by car, probably 3 hours on mopeds. So we've planned all this out. We've planned the weekend. We've got a support vehicle, trailer and everything. And of all the weekends, this is going to be like Perth's stormiest weekend of the year. One quote that I read said, Perth has maybe 5 fronts like this per year. We're talking gusts of winds, 125 kilometres an hour, hail, thunderstorms, 50 mil of rain, and we're sleeping in hammocks.
And we're riding on scooters.
And so we set off into the night. I had already discovered my first issue. This moped is way too heavy over the back, thanks mostly to the fuel, I think. This meant my steering was extremely sketchy, though it did improve as I sped up. We made a quick stop for fuel before disappearing into the night. Bo, how the hell are we going to know where we're going?
I don't know, man. Well, we could just check my GPS. Yeah. Homemade.
What?
How fucking cool is that? We're never gonna get lost.
We're never going to get lost, and you'll always know how fast you're going.
Yeah. To the T. These things are fucking more accurate than speedometers.
Hell yeah.
Satellite. God damn.
Ah, man. I have nothing so fancy. I've got dials. Even with the 70cc kit, I can push to about there. 55 or 60.
Maybe there's a limiter in yours.
Yeah, it seems like maybe I have a electronic speed limiter, like a CDI limiter or something. But at least it gets to 60 pretty quick. The biggest problem first is taking off in the thing, because I get speed wobbles from about 5 k's an hour up to maybe 20, and it's so brutal, you gotta hold on. So I'm looking forward to setting up camp and I can offload some of the weight before we go out for our day of riding tomorrow.
That's alright, that's 3 hours away.
You got 3 hours.
You got plenty of time to think about it.
Oh dang. Nobody had eaten yet, and it was about 8:30 p.m. So we stopped for a counter meal at the Waroona Tavern with our support crew of Harry and Jamie. This was our last decent meal before living off cuppa soup and me goreng for a weekend. I'm pissed as a cricket and I'm going to bed. That's me bed. This fly sheet keep the rain off me because it's the Perth's most thunderstormy weekend ever. And under there I've got me hammock, and then that's my underquilt to stop the cold from getting up me jacksie. And then I got another sleeping bag and everything else in there. Problem with hammocks is the last time I slept in one I got seasick, and it's really windy, and I'm drunk, so I'll probably get really seasick again. But you know what the young kids say, YOLO. You ready?
Harry, I'm gonna get in bed.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
It's flapping like your nana's chops. I feel crook already. This is going to take a bit bit of getting used to. There's my bag. I'm gonna sleep in here with me possessions and shit. Could take my boots off, but nah. It's pretty comfy, but
The storm did hit indeed. At around 1 AM, the wind howled through camp, bringing with it sideways rain and thunderstorms. A few of us are State Emergency Service volunteers and received word of many storm damage jobs needing attendance back up in Perth's suburbs. Despite all that, Bo and I stayed completely dry and I only woke a couple of times. Jake, on the other hand, he had set up his swag in a runoff area.
as it was dark when we arrived last night and when we departed, and dark every other time, I didn't get to show you how I've got this scooter organised, so I'll do it this morning. I'll run you over how I've got everything stored. So on this side here, this is pretty much my pantry. I've got a few other things in there that got shoved in last minute, but I've got a fruit and nut mix, that's a bag of cereal there. Milks, that's for tea and coffee, except I forgot the tea and coffee, so waste of time that was. So that's the pantry. There's also some mee goreng that didn't make it in there yet. That is in Bo's scooter. I've got these Mad Dog little pockets down the side here. This did have my tin cup in it, which is out here somewhere, and a roll of duct tape. I've got a few rolls of that, and the duct tape's mostly for things like this, because already I've busted the plastics on the scooter. I've got a pocket full of rags there, which are all wet from last night's rain. That 15 litre ocean pack, that had all my bedding in it. It's now got the motorcycle leathers sitting there, but that held my sleeping bag, my hammock, my rain fly, my other sleeping bag, and a few spare bits of clothing. Had that stuffed under the seat. Under the seat I also have first aid kit there, and that's see a first aid kit, and that's a mosquito net, but it's so damn windy there's no mosquitoes anywhere. Then on this side got a couple more little storage bags. This just had a whole load of carabiner clips and stuff in it, and this one's got my GoPro chest mount just poked in there. And then this side I've got my little pot and pan that's got a small butane burner in it, can of butane, glow sticks, shit tickets, spare batteries, some fishing gear, and a whole lot of tools and spare parts poked in under there too.
Before we set out, I heated some water for my morning instant coffee, while the other boys got straight into their glamping.
Fixing some damage. It even matches the colour of the paint. Does your indicator light still work?
I think so. I don't know. I've still got the lens. I saved the lens.
Lovely! Have you finished fueling up, Bo?
Oh yeah.
Oh. What happened, Alex?
Bo was coming up this hill and the back tyre slipped into this rut and his scooter did a complete 360 and he ended up facing back down the hill, and mine did the same thing except my throttle got jammed and it went full speed off into the bush.
Wow.
It's so good every time you take the helmet off.
After heading downhill for a long time, we finally met the Murray River and found this mad dog little spot.
If we didn't have a massive camp with all the cars, that would be the spot I would camp. How good is that?
It's pretty epic. Kind of wish we brought fishing rods.
Yeah.
After punting around for a few hours, we went back to camp to meet up with the boys and the vehicles to collect some firewood for another cold, wet night. But on the way back, some minor breakdowns occurred.
Just come loose. I've got the tools in here.
So my entire rear storage setup has come loose. There's a bolt just under there. Luckily we haven't lost the bolt yet. Jake spotted it in time. So I'm just digging into my tool drawer. I've got enough stuff here to fix it with.
Having spent some decent hours building these things up, I'd gathered a fair idea of what tools I would need to fix most things on the scoot, and it all fits rolled up in this old tea towel.
Much easier if the ratchet worked, eh? Keeps jamming.
Problem. Oh, it snapped off. You got duct tape?
So much duct tape.
I got some in mine if you want it. Do you want to hold it there, Alex, if you can?
subject.
Yeah, man. Does he really see the situation? No, don't do that.
Fucking hammer it up here, eh?
Yeah, man, that loves it.
How'd you go, Alex? How was
Yeah.
the hill climbs?
Hill climbs are brutal. I'm stuffed. It's like you just grab the throttle and your legs out the side and you just hold on. Ride the wave.
Ride the wave. Nice duds, Bo.
Thanks, man. I'm a salmon fisherman now.
How did you find the ride?
I found it great. On that, where's my scooter? See those bars, the support bars?
Yeah, right in the middle there.
They made it so much more cruisier than before. Whereas the front would just wobble out. It's perfect now.
Jake rides hard. Look at the steam coming out of that helmet.
Yeah, go hard or go home.
That's mean.
Mean steam.
That's how cold we're talking.
Thankfully, the support crew had relaxed all day, beers in hand, and kept the fire going. But before we could call it a day, there was one thing yet to be done.
Okay, what we got here is good old-fashioned race. Me versus Bo. Start from outside the camp, do a loop up and around, take a couple of minutes. First one back here wins, and the loser has to ride the scooter naked. Nudie run. So, other than that, no rules. And we've got GoPros on each of our helmets, so let's see who is a winner.
Alex, Bo, you lose.
Shit, that was close.
So tell me, how does it feel to be the winner of the race?
That was a triumph. I had no idea he would be so close.
Yep.
And I just rounded that final corner and I was like, I saw his wheel and I was like, fuck, I could be naked. And I just got on it. Eh? I didn't even care about stopping at the end. Oh my god.
Okay.
I beat him by that and a bomb threat.
Yeah, it was a foot length.
Shit. And then somehow I caught you. I think it was up to that point where it gets real bumpy.
Yeah.
And I was like, bah, just smashing
like the
it.
tree logs and shit.
Yeah. I
That's
was just
sketchy as fuck, that bit.
so bad. I was smashing it over every bump. I was like, I'm not going to do nudie run. Bang, bang, no. Get straight past you, and then somehow you just fucking.
Yeah, I just had it in there, eh? I was pretty easy on the throttle. I was just like, no, I've got this. Don't push it too hard, because you'll stack it, and then Bo will have you. And I came around that corner, and there you were, and I was like, nah, time to give it everything.
I think I cut out a bit or something. I don't know. I lost a bit of power there, but
Yeah, I know.
It happens to both of the scooters. Yeah.
just the worst timing. Oh well. Fate is nudie run, I suppose.
Well, as you can imagine, those two boys were freezing by the time we got back.
So videoing a dude having a bath.
But luckily for us, Harry and the other guys had prepared a warm bath.
How fucking good do you feel?
Hey Harry,
Yo.
explain what it is.
Well, this is a bath. Well, it's a spa. It's a bubble bath. It's a bit of everything. It's a heat exchanger, which is basically a copper coil.
Oh
which
yeah?
is running through a little 12-volt pump. Pumps it, and we're just cycling the water through the heat exchanger to make it warm. That
Yes.
took about 15-20 minutes, and it's warm as toast.
And it's just getting warmer and warmer as it
Oh,
goes?
it's so we had to take it off and put it on the cool part of the fire because it got really hot. Like, it was just spitting out steam and boiling water. It's really good. I highly recommend it.
And Bo just went for a naked ride, so this feels good right now.
This feels so good right now.
The others, who had spent most of the day chilling around camp, had put a hunk of lamb on the spit for dinner. Us lightweight campers were limited to noodles and hot water.
Drunk reviews. Round 2. Drunk reviewing the scooter.
Yeah, that's not going in here. Too many naughty words. You'll see that in a separate video. Let's fast forward to the morning of our departure.
How's your bike going on the trip? Have you enjoyed riding the bike?
Yeah, the bike's gone great, but because I put a massive sprocket on it to lower the gearing so I could putt around with the really slow scooters, it doesn't like going 100, and being an old bike, it uses a bit of oil, but so far it's been great. Yeah.
Awesome. And what do you think to the scooters? What do you think to how the scooters have gone?
With the fine tuning we've done, and they're running in nicely, I think they're going great. You know, it's hilarious watching them try and do a hill climb because they're so low to the ground and they have such insufficient suspension that just watching you trying to rodeo the thing up a hill.
You don't mind the weather, other than sort of getting your feet soaked and your swag swamped?
I'm sure most people that have grown up in Perth can empathise how depressing it gets in the summertime if you live in the bush and you're watching all the trees die around you. So any bit of rain is welcome to me. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. My feet have been wet for well over 12 hours because I just brought skate shoes and not Wellington boots, but that's my problem.
So the hammock sleep last night, man, that wasn't so bad, eh?
That was actually really good. It's one of the best makeshift camps that we've had. In the past, they haven't been successful to block out any of the elements. But considering that tarp is tightly wrapped around the hammock, the rain doesn't even get in. So I think it's going really well.
So we took the mopeds.
Look behind you.
Yeah, I know.
The rain's coming.
So we took the mopeds.
Oh, you guys are... Oh, sorry.
Took the mopeds from Armadale all the way down here. Did you enjoy the cruise at 55 k's an hour on the main highway?
You know what, I actually did. I loved it. I'd do that again. 9 times a bit deadly. But, you know what, I enjoyed the trip. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm getting out of here.
And what do you think to the off-road performance?
We're gonna go.
Quick, is it good or is it bad?
Great. Off-road performance is on key, but I think it's amazing what we've done to it. Fuck, we're gonna go.
Oh, Jesus. This morning we're having a look at how Bo has laid out his moped in regards to where he stores what and how he's got it set up. So take us through what you've got on the back, Bo.
Alright, grand tour. Let's start with this ammo case. This is where I store all my food for the trip, which, going over rocks, has all turned to mush now. But that's alright, because it's easily digestible. Actually, it turns out this one's not my food, this is just all my necessities, like my iPod.
Yep.
And my extra battery.
iPod, battery,
Torch. And they're really waterproof. Like, I've fallen over in the puddle with nothing, no water's got me.
I've dropped mine on its boxes a few times and
Yeah?
it doesn't seem to be too dented either. They're pretty tough.
They are. Excellent purchase.
Okay, next box.
Next box. This is the actual food one. It has all my foods and cooking utensils and underwear.
Oh yeah.
We didn't use any of the milk because we didn't bring coffee or tea.
Yeah, we forgot the coffee and tea. Got the biscuits. No, that's not biscuits.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
actually.
it is. Oh man, they're going to be
taking a beating.
They're going to be powder.
It's going to be a dust that we can consume. That's alright. In the bag, in the dry bag, I've got a tarp and I've got a sleeping bag.
Oh yeah.
Yep, which is good. I've got the old machete on the side, which has come in handy. I made some tent pegs out of some wood.
Oh, wicked.
I got a chair underneath.
Yep, little stool.
Little stool, which is incredibly uncomfortable. In the seat, I've got the hammock. I've got the battery.
Oh yeah.
And I've got a lot of rope.
Sweet. Yeah, you need lots of rope.
On the sides I've just used for like, well, that's got a packet of nuts in it, but that's my nut sack.
Your nutsack.
This over here is just like tape, rope, cups, more tape, because as you can see, by Alex's one,
Yeah.
we've used a lot of it.
Yeah, we've used so much duct tape repairing
At
that.
least 2 rolls.
Yeah.
over this
You
trip.
need lots of rolls of duct tape.
Yeah. Then I've got my, oh shit, it's water. My waterproof phone case, which acts as a GPS system and also a speedometer because my speedometer broke.
Yeah.
And the jerry can, which is situated right in the middle,
Oh yeah.
and it's perfect.
It turns out to be a better spot than mine because mine sits on the back and it really unbalances me.
My center of gravity is like right where I sit, so it's pretty stable.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it's really heavy when it falls.
Oh, and down here, this is pretty trick.
Yeah.
That's rigged up to your big battery.
Yep. It's also waterproof, if anyone's wondering why it's wet.
Yeah,
Waterproof. I don't care.
USB and cigarette socket, hey?
Yep. Which I haven't had use for yet, but I'm sure we'll find something.
Yep.
Maybe maybe scamping number 2.
Yeah. At the front, Bo's got twin air horns installed.
Yep.
And a little work light for a spotty,
Yep.
which is quite efficient. Give your horns a toot.
Alright.
Oh, pretty loud.
Yeah. And they're little air compressors in the front.
Oh, wicked.
It's actually pretty good.
Little air compressor for
I reckon
the...
next time I'm going to rig it up so I can put a system up to pump the tyres up again.
Yes.
So that'll be good. And that's pretty much my scooter. Thank you for watching.
With the vehicles and mopeds all packed up, it was time to leave camp. The track out was a lot tougher than it was going in. The soil was just too wet and the highway terrain tyres too slippery.
Yeah. That's a dance party.
Hill after hill I slowly wore out. The 2-stroke engine is all or nothing when it comes to power. Combine that with the weight on the rear and massive hills, and I'm battling to keep the front wheel on the ground. Eventually, I was just so buggered that I had to pass the scooter off to Jake and ride his Yamaha instead. Gotta work on my fitness. While what happens next wasn't the first time on this trip, nor the funniest, it is the only one we happened to have the GoPro rolling for.
Well, that was bound to happen.
A few short minutes later, and we were finally back onto the tarmac. Now we just have the 3-hour ride back home to worry about, and in pouring rain.
We stopped for a bit of a break in Pinjarra. We've come from Waruna to here, and it's scenic and it's constantly raining, and I found out that my protective gear isn't as waterproof as I might have thought. So I'm getting a little bit cold on the front. I'm just going to stuff some jackets and other clothing up the front to try and keep me warm. What's happened to your indicators?
Oh, the indicators. So they're arcing out because it's so wet, and they're zapping me up my arms. Every time I put the indicator on, I'm going, and I'm getting shocked.
What's your opinion on the experience, Bo, of riding in this wet weather?
You haven't called me at a great time for audio or video or anything.
Are you eating cat and dog food from this shop behind us?
No. That'll probably be better than those cheesy bits. I'm not wet. Look at me.
Right. You're dry as a nun's nasty. I'm wetter than a knotter's pocket.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good. I got a backpack on. I've got the thing on the back of my scooter which is protecting from any backwind or rain.
Oh yeah?
I'm doing great.
Loving it.
You're not so much, Alex.
No, I'm nearly dead.
Thanks for watching the Expeditions Scoot series. We hope you've had as much fun watching as we've had building and flogging the guts out of these machines. Let us know what you thought in the comments, and if the feedback is good, perhaps we'll get these beasts out again sometime. On that note, make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with our future trips, as well as camping and off-road tips. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.